My name is Mel Megan. I am on the 4-H Franklin County Fashion Board and on the 4-H State Fashion Board. And today I will be helping you with this project so fun. More specifically with Activity 5, picking out your fabrics. So as you can see right here, we have an example of a fabric. And I know everyone hates going through definitions. I hated that in school, but we gotta do it. So we are going to start off with a bit of common knowledge sort of stuff. So first off, we're going to be talking about the selvage edge, or as I like to call it, the salvage, because I find the other pronunciation disgusting. The selvage edge is the edge right here that you can see. It's white. It has words written on it, and that was where the fabric was hooked onto the loom when it was being produced. So all fabric is made from tiny pieces of thread, essentially, which we will get to later, but this is where it was connected to the loom as it was being made. As you can see, there was a lot of stuff written on it. For example, you had the different colors of stuff used in the fabric, the different threads. You have the collection that the fabric was from, as well as the brand, and a website for some reason, a lot of different information. Next, we're going to talk about grain, which is the direction that your yarn/thread is facing. So first off, you need to make sure I'm not holding anything upside down here. We have the crosswise grain, which is parallel to the selvage, or as some call it, the weft. Now, it is going right to left. Maybe that's why it's called this. It makes a lot of sense if that is the reason. Our next wonderful piece of fabric is the lengthwise grain, which is pretty much like the opposite of the weft. It's going up and down, and it is called the warp. If you really think about it, if this thing is warped, then it will not look right. And then we finally have a thing called the cut edge, which to me is sort of like the salvage in the sense that it is an end of the fabric, only this is the end where your fabric was cut, whether that be at insert random fabric store name here or on the internet. The last thing we are going to talk about definitions-wise is off-grain. Now, what is off-grain, you may ask? Well, off-grain fabric, here is a wonderful example, is fabric that had a weird production error to where it wasn't woven right. Gotta make sure this is out here. The way you can tell if it's off-grain is if you line up the two selvage edges, and it looks something like this. Pretty gross, right? Well, in some cases you can actually fix it by stretching the fabric different ways, and the weave should even itself out. I would not recommend using off-grain fabric unless you want your garment to not fit. If that's the look you're going for, go ahead, use all of it, but it's not the best thing to do. Now we're going to get to the fun part, choosing the pattern. But wait, a word from our sponsors. There's apparently a quiz. Again, I know I didn't like those in school, but you gotta do them. So back on page 18, you're going to find your little questions here. Now I'll give you a second to pause the video. Got done? Great. So, as I was saying before I got so rudely interrupted by our sponsor, time to actually choose your fabric. Now, here's a general rule of choosing fabric. Do not go for the cheapest possible option. Go for quality, because, again, this is from personal experience. I bought a bunch of fabric. I'm not allowed to use store brand names, but it begins with a W. Because it was cheap, it was like $2. I made something from it and immediately fell apart. You don't want that to happen. If you make your garment out of low quality fabric, it's gonna fall apart, it's not gonna look good. All that hard work will have been for nothing. So before anything else, please choose high quality options. Now, as for picking out what type of fabric you're going to use, your pattern should have a general list for you. Now, if you go to the back of your pattern, as you can see, we have our random simplicity pattern right here. You're going to see something down in this general area that should say, something to the effect of suggested fabrics. Now, this little section will give you a like a little list of fabrics that would work for these garments in particular. This one here is sized for stretch knits only, as it says. As for actual fabrics everyone, beginners should use, I would recommend using cotton. This is what this is. I know, pretty shocking, right? This is cotton before it gets woven into a fabric. It looks pretty strange, but hey, it's nice and soft. Or low stretch fabrics. I would not recommend using anything like spandex, nylon, denim, tulle especially. Mostly because it's either going to be very slippery on your machine, very dense, so you can't really sew through it that easily, thus sort of defeating the purpose. Or it's going to stretch a lot, and you are going to have a very hard time controlling it while you are sewing it. Your stitches aren't going to be even. So that appears to be all that we have for today, considering my sponsor did not give me any more cue cards. Now, please remember, above all, just have fun. It's in the name of the project. If you make something that makes you feel good wearing it, girl, wear it all you want. You earned it. Especially considering a lot of people don't know how to sew. You have a very valuable skill. Use it in the job market. That is all the time we have for today. Please stay healthy. And if you have any questions about anything here, please consult either the back of your pattern or the Franklin County Fashion Board, because we are more than willing to help you. Goodbye.